The biggest obstacle between where you are now and the life that you want to have is your mindset. And it's completely normal to feel stuck, to feel, unmotivated or overwhelmed by how far you feel like you have to go. And maybe it's a lot of things you're struggling with, like a bunch of different vices and addictions you want to quit. Maybe it's porn, maybe it's the physique that you're trying to attain, and you're looking at your body and you're thinking, man, this is going to take so long. Maybe it's thinking about, how much money you want to make and advancing your career and being nowhere near and feeling like you're so far behind. It's completely normal to feel overwhelmed by that, right? Maybe you know what you want. Maybe you don't know what you want. Either way, I am going to address both of these things today so that way you can have the mental shift that I was able to make to immediately make a change in your life starting today. So I was in the Marine Corps. I was in combat at the age of 20. I did Marine Corps infantry for 4 years straight out of high school. I went to college. It took me forever to finish school. Actually, it took me about 7 years to finish my bachelor's degree because I was working full time. And I remember though, back when I was in the Marine Corps, I was about to go to Afghanistan. I was 20 years old and we did a 6-month deployment. And, when I got over there, I was kind of skinny. I didn't really have a great physique or anything like that. I'd been working out for a couple of years, but I didn't really know what the heck I was doing. And I was just kind of going through the motions. I didn't have a well-sculpted physique. And, now I've been in the gym since I was 16, 20, in 2011, I was 20 years old. Okay. And, I went on this deployment and I knew that I wasn't going to be able to get jacked when I was over there. But going over there, I could only do 10 pull-ups. And my biggest goal was to hit 20 pull-ups and to get a six-pack because I knew I wasn't going to be able to get jacked. We're going on foot patrols every day, in firefights, we're standing posts, wearing a ton of different gear. There's no way. I'm sweating a lot. I'm not eating much. I'm food and sleep deprived. But I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to come back with a six-pack. And I still remember, I think it was like Zac Efron and Tobey Maguire from Spider-Man, back in the day that I look at the guys and I'm like, they got a pretty nice physique. That's attainable. So 6 months, man, I busted my ass every single day between what we had to do for work, which was obviously very active, but I was hitting the gym every day. I was following a program every single day. I was hitting my abs basically every single day, body weight, weighted. I kind of did the research and we didn't have the tools that you guys have now, all the resources to learn. Easy, man. It's easy. All you have to do now is execute. But like I said, it's the mental shift. Well, I had the objective that by the end of this deployment, I'm going to come back a different person. And I practiced my pull-ups every day. I think I was doing basically 10 sets of 5 pull-ups almost every day. And within, about 6 months, I was easily doing 20 pull-ups. Maybe it was shorter than that. And so you have to kind of war game it, strategy. And so if my max was 10 pull-ups and I wanted to get to 20, then you do 10 sets of 50% of your max. And you can do that every day because it's body weight. But I hit my abs every day. I did my pull-ups every day. I was doing weighted work. I was doing unweighted work for my abs and I was crushing it, man. I was running in, 120, 130 degree weather over in the Middle East. I mean, it was brutal, man. And I got it, man. I got the six-pack and I put so much effort into it, man. Blood, sweat, and tears. And I set an objective and I went out and got it. But, if I would have looked at how far I have to go, I mean, I remember seeing these guys' physiques, bodybuilders on Instagram back in, 2011, 2012. And I was thinking like, man, I don't think I can ever get that. Like, honestly, that's just unattainable. And I did. I ended up going, for years, just chipping away at it, taking it one day at a time. I was chipping away at the physique. I got the six-pack that I wanted. I was pretty skinny, but I had it by the end of my deployment. I was doing 20 pull-ups. And then I took my physique to the next level. And I always use breakups as fuel for motivation to level up. And I went crazy, man. I poured my everything into it. But years now, man, I've been working out for so long. I've been building for so long. And this is what happens over time, but it's not, you can look at how far you have to go and look at the mountain you have to climb, and you can think, man, fuck it, like I'm not even gonna try. Or you can just take one day at a time, one step at a time. And motivation is fleeting. Like, motivation's cool. Go listen to David Goggins, Motiversity on YouTube. Shout out to them. Maybe Greg Plitt. He's super motivational, but it has to be from an intrinsic state, right? It has to be intrinsically motivated. What does that mean? Internally, I'm motivated from a deeper reason. Why do I want to even do this, right? And it's really easy to get discouraged when you look at how far you have to go, but when you can chunk things down and just, take it one day at a time, one step at a time, one day at a time, one meal at a time. And it's the compounding effect over time. Actually, there's a really great book by Darren Hardy. It's on Audible. You can read it. I think I just listened to it, but it's called The Compound Effect. Great book. I highly recommend it. Atomic Habits as well. It's these small micro things every single day, the building blocks towards success, towards the ideal life that we want to live. It's the mindset shift that you need to make is one day at a time, the one step at a time, the one day at a time mindset, right? Instead of focusing on the enormity of your goals that you have in your life, whether it's the physique, a certain amount of money, or, whatever the overall lifestyle, great, write it out, your dream life, but then chunk it down and think about smaller goals, right? And just focus on one day at a time, one step at a time. One thing I struggle with, and maybe this has been you, but one thing that has held me back from getting to the next level, reaching success in certain areas that most people don't ever reach, is inaction, overthinking. Thinking you have to have the perfect diet, the perfect nutrition, the perfect timing. There's not a fucking perfect time, man. It's learn to dance in the storm, learn to dance in the rain and just get out there and start, right? And things take time. It takes years to get really good at anything. I mean, I've honestly found, no matter what it is, whether it's building your physique, building a business, any kind of skill set, you really need I would say a really solid 10 years in the game, man. And social media has this lie that it's this overnight success and everything shoved in your face, like you're behind in your life. It's a lie. It's bullshit. Don't fall for it. And you will reach that success if you just keep showing up. It's consistency, man. It's always consistency. It's not perfection. It's being consistent over a long period of time. That means if you miss a workout here and there, it's fine. If you slip up with the nutrition and stuff, it's fine, man. Like, you can still get ahead and keep that momentum. I think overthinking about the size of the goal, overanalyzing that, can make things seem impossible and paralyze action, right? So you start small, start where you can today. Take the first step today. I remember my mom, I actually always have got great advice from my mother. And I remember my mom was the one who once told me that I would tell her about my goals and things that I would want. And I've hit rock bottom a couple of times in my life, just as every man does, especially, in your 20s, late 20s, 30s. Just focus on that next step, right? What's the next step that you have to take? I mean, I had a learning disability in school growing up, all through elementary, middle school, high school. I was in, some special classes for math, especially through college, man. It took me 7 years to finish my bachelor's degree. 3 colleges, 3 states. I switched my major. Maybe it was more I would think it was 7. It was 6 or 7 years. I was working full time. It took me longer to do things. It took me longer to study. To do well, to actually get A's and B's in school and maybe a C here and there. I'm thinking about college. It took me longer to study. I had to kill myself, it took me longer to retain information. It takes me longer it took me longer to get things. Your brain is a muscle. It expands. You can train it, right? The more you use it, if you don't use it, you lose it kind of thing. But it took me a longer time in more effort to get the grades that other people got that was easier, right? I was slower. Like it is what it is, man. Like nobody's perfect. And I stayed the course anyway. You know, when I was in Marine Corps boot camp, I mean, it was the hardest thing I've ever been through in my life. And I think about the 13 weeks that I was there, it was so hard. Especially the culture shock going in at 19 years old, right? Think about that. Arguably, it's the hardest entry-level military boot camp in the US. And every single day, I mean, I didn't have my phone. I think the Army and the Air Force, like they get their phones in basic training. Didn't have my phone at all the entire time. No phone, no contact with the outside world except for maybe writing some letters or something. And it was so hard every single day. From the time we got up at, I think maybe 5 a.m. until we went to bed at like 8 or 9 p.m. every single night, busy all day long, nonstop, getting yelled at, physical activity, martial arts, trying not to fall asleep in class and getting absolutely destroyed by the drill instructors nonstop. Like it was a lot, man, but it was just one day at a time, one step at a time. Focus on today. Focus on today. Make today count. Take that step. Every single day is a step forward. And when you have people, places, and things in your life, you know, you have to be protecting your energy and your time and who you're around, right? You are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with or listen to. And so you have to audit what's coming in your freaking energy field, man, in your mind, what you're watching, what's going in your ears, who you're around, right? Because you got to think there's so many distractions nowadays, right? What you're doing in your life, who you're around. Is this person helping me grow? Is this thing helping me grow? Is this helping me get one step closer to my idealized self, the life that I want to live? Or is this putting me a step or two back, right? And sometimes life knocks us down and we take a couple steps back, right? And that's just the journey of life because it's not really just linear, right? But are you showing up? Taking those small steps every day because the small steps lead to big change over time. Having a plan for each day, right? Having objectives, having a vision, having objectives, breaking those goals down, and having a plan for each day, right? And we're doing a daily review, a weekly review, monthly review. Are we making progress towards our goals? That is what leads to change. And not getting it kind of prevents you from having these overwhelmed feelings. I mean, from school, making it through college, when I was working like at least probably at least 1 or 2 jobs at the same time, always full time. Am I ever going to make it through math? Because I was literally retarded in math. I made it through, barely. I think my last math class, I waited till my last semester of college. I was a shredded personal trainer at the time, and one of my clients was an accounting major, and she was in finance, and she was my math tutor. And so we bartered. So she would help me with my coursework for this last semester, and I would train her. I literally made it with a 70, bro. A 70. I saved my last math class for my last semester in college. A 70, and I made it, and I got my degree. I did well in everything else, but I still had to work harder than everybody else. Again, and I'm okay, man. Like, I'm not a bad-looking dude. I mean, there's guys that are better looking, there's guys that are taller, that are in better shape. I'm not a bad-looking dude, man, but I was not blessed with any kind of special genetics. I'm in better shape than anyone in my family, which is crazy. Some people are blessed with genetics. I've had to bust my ass for everything that I have in my life. No handouts. You know, truly bootstrapped, man. But I know that, like, if you just focus on being consistent and showing up for yourself every single day, that's what's going to give you those wins, man. And you stack the wins over time, the compounding effect, that's where progress is made. And you're going to be motivated sometimes. Not all the time, you know? If I was always motivated when I wanted to work out, I'd be a fat piece of shit. You know what I mean? But when you do feel those bursts of motivation, ride the wave, man, because it doesn't last for forever. It's sort of a fleeting temporary thing. Ride it. Capitalize on it, okay? And that's where, you know, those days you can get more done. You can get more done. It's just like those days, those weeks that you're feeling, maybe month or maybe a series of months, you're feeling more motivated. Take advantage of that and get more done. But don't burn yourself out. Look, I typically work, usually 6 days a week, but really no less than about 5.5. You need to always just have at least a half a day to 1 day, at least 1 day off per week where you're just winding down so you don't burn out, okay? But this is the mindset shift, 1 day at a time, 1 step at a time. If you can just focus on taking action and stop procrastinating and so waiting until the perfect time or the perfect series of events or when I have this, when I get here, when I have that. No, like just go right now. There's never going to be perfect. You just have to go and start taking action right now. So that's all I have for you today, man. I hope that helps. If the video helps, like the video, man, and then comment down below in the comments. Let me know what's the one thing that you're struggling with the most in your life right now. I really want to know what you're dealing with. It helps me make better content for you guys. And then subscribe because I'm dropping videos every single week. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.